so fragile, like it was built to break.
Hey guys, Eve here, and today is our final makeup rewind video. As you can tell by the title of this video, we are heading into the 1930s. The makeup of this decade was known for being heavily influenced by the glamorous movie stars of this era, and so I wanted to recreate that type of look for you. Of course, there are certainly other things that went into play, and I will talk through those as we keep going. But if you guys want to see how I got this 1930s inspired makeup look, go ahead and keep on watching. So I haven't done my eyebrows yet because we have to make them as thin as possible. So I'm going in with my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz and the shade Medium Brown, combing it up with a spoolie and then flipping it around to the other side to start creating those lines. I'm not going to define the shape too much. I really am just going to make the tiniest little line as I can with a slight arch, just because brows in the 1930s were very thin. After I have that outline, I'm grabbing this eyeshadow powder by Urban Decay. I'm forgetting what it's called. It's from the Urban Decay Naked Basics set, and I'm brushing that in there. And then I'm cleaning up the brow with some concealer, and I'm actually going to go over some other hairs with this concealer just to thin it out even more. This is not my favorite brow shape, but for the sake of the video, we're doing it. We're doing the thing. Then taking that same concealer, the Tarte Shape Tape in Fair, I'm going to put this all over my lid and blend it in with the Beauty Blender to use as a primer. Then to get rid of the tackiness, I'm taking my RCMA No Color Powder and dusting that right over top. Then grabbing my Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette Quad in the shade Plum, I'm taking that base shade, it's a nice dusty rose shade, and I'm putting that all over my lid and blending it up into my crease. This is going to be the lid base, and it's going to be the transition color. It is true that they're not selling this quad anymore, however, I will leave some dupes in the description box down below. Now, grabbing my Anastasia Beverly Hills Artist Palette, I'm picking up the shade Unicorn, which is a periwinkle shade with a little bit of glitter. However, when you blend it out, the glitter kind of disappears. And I'm focusing this onto my outer corners. I'm creating a rounded shape out there. The articles that I read were describing the eyeshadow shape as a pear type shape, so I'm assuming that meant that it circled out in the outer corners and then thinned out towards the inner corner of the eye. And then doing some reverse blending with that base shade once again, and then building up that periwinkle color a little bit more. There's no need to be too precise with this at all. There really isn't any precision with it, it's just making sure that the shape is there. In the 1930s, more eyeshadow colors were introduced. Some of the most popular ones were blues and purples and pinks, so I wanted to incorporate those colors in this look. Taking a flatter brush and just packing on the color onto the lid just to make that pigmentation stand out, and then blending out all the edges with that base shade once again. Then grabbing my Stila liquid liner, and I'm lining my eyes with that slightly just to darken up the lash line, since I'm not going to be wearing any falsies with this look. Then taking the shade Coal from the Anastasia Beverly Hills Artist Palette and smoking out that liquid line. We don't want anything on the lid to be too defined. Now for the skin, I am going to go ahead and prime my skin, even though primer wasn't exactly a thing in the 1930s. This is my new favorite priming mix. It's the Pure Perfecting Primer mixed with Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in the shade Moonstone. I tried out this combination in my video where I follow a Cosmo by Haley tutorial. Go check that out if you haven't already. And then for foundation, I'm grabbing my Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in the shade Porcelain. In the 1930s, they definitely were into the making your skin super light trend, which works for me because my skin is already super light. So I'm going to go ahead and blend that out. And then spot conceal with a little bit more of that Tarte Shape Tape and blending it out with the same foundation brush.
Thinking about tomorrow.
Adding the same concealer under my eyes. Once again, blending it out with a beauty sponge, and setting it all down with some RCMA No Color Powder. I set the spots that crease more with a dry beauty sponge, and I set the rest of my face with a big powder brush. Now I'm grabbing my Naked Skin Shapeshifter palette, and I'm picking up that powder contour shade, putting that into the contours of my cheeks, blending it upwards on top of my cheekbones just to give me a little bit more of a chiseled look, contouring just started to be popular in the 1930s, especially among the movie stars, because it helped make their features stand out in black and white films. So I'm contouring my normal areas of the face as well, and I'm grabbing a bit of that base shade from the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette and putting it under my eyes on my lower lash line. Then grabbing my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush in the shade Incandescent Electra and applying the blush with a stipple brush in a triangle shape. Yes, that's right, a triangle shape. The point of the triangle is down towards the hollow of my cheeks, and one of the flat edges of the triangle is all the way up by my lower lash line. And then for a highlight, I'm grabbing my e.l.f. Baked Highlighter in Moonlit, putting that onto the apples of my cheeks, my nose, my cupid's bow, my inner corners, and my brow bone. Then setting it all with a Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. Then curling my lashes to prep for mascara, and today I'm using my Tarte Lights Camera Lashes Mascara. Then for my lower lashes, I'm grabbing my Pixie Lower Lash Line Mascara. Intensifying the lower lashes just started to become popular as it made your eyes look bigger. And then for lips, you want to grab a deep burgundy shade, as was popular at the time. This is the Morphe liquid lipstick in the shade Stunner, and I'm applying it normally to my bottom lip, but to my upper lip I'm going to intensify my shape. I'm going to overdraw a little bit. In the 1920s, they made the cupid's bow super prominent with the upper lip, but in the 1930s they kind of blew it out a little bit. Made the cupid's bow a little bit straighter and made the lips themselves a little bit rounder. In my opinion, it looks pretty doll-like. Alright guys, so this is the finished look. As you can tell, in the 1930s, they started to play a little bit more with the structure of their makeup, with the shapes of their makeup. Makeup was used less to emphasize certain aspects and more to just wear makeup. The style was to be a little bit more obvious, and I kind of enjoy that. And I definitely do love the burgundy lip. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Make sure to watch the rest of the Makeup Rewind series. I'll leave that playlist in the corner right up here. If you like me, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below. And special thanks to Vanessa Estrada. Thank you so much for your comment. And yeah, thank you so much guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.
For something new, only time will tell, but I'll be home.